Welcome to the Windy City Bender Podcast with your hosts, Noli, Poetz,
Jarom, and Tanner.
What's up, everybody? Coach Poetz is back. How about it, huh?
Finally got internet, eh?
How about it? Got internet, figured my life out a little bit. So I'm here. And I'm ready.
Yeah. How's the new place, bud?
It's good. It's good. Just kind of adapting to it right now. So, but no, I like it a lot. I like the area a lot. I've already been to the local bar about 4 times. So it's gonna be tough going here for a little bit, but we'll get through. We'll muddle through. But no, happy to be back. Missed doing this. So plus I really haven't been able to keep up too much with like hockey or the Hawks for too much, and then I finally got to move in and got internet and been able to watch the last couple games. So
hockey overload.
Yeah, legit hockey overload. You know, especially coaching too. So
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I know. Happy to be back. It's just the two of us today. Tanner's working and Noli, I think he's helping out his family today, moving or something like that. So but I got a pretty interesting one for y'all today. A couple really cool interviews from some of the guys that are in the Veterans Hockey League that we play in, the men's league that we play in. So really cool to kind of get their perspective on what's going on there and what's coming up. Legit, I feel like we're gonna end up playing like USHL teams.
You know,
the way that this thing is going.
And he mentions, like, he jokingly says, like, yeah, I'm talking to the Blackhawks, and I'm just like, I kind of think you're being a little serious.
Don't trust you. You can laugh about all you want, throw a little giggle in there, but I don't trust you at all. So
I just want a heads up so we're not playing with 10 guys again like we did against the fucking 29 guys on the junior team.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that see, here I'm so confused about that. So we played the Cougars, the USPHL juniors team, which I thought, like, when it was originally done, which was super cool. I had a great time in that game. But when they told us that we were going to be playing the Cougars, I was like, okay, like, there's no way mid-season, like, they're actually going to have their team play a game against, like, some fat men's league guys. Like, there's no way. And they show up with 29 fucking guys. Like, that was incredible. That was unreal. I could not believe that. And we're sitting there with the 10 of us going, oh my God.
They had healthy scratches.
They had, so I think we got to the bottom of that. They weren't healthy scratches.
Oh.
They were injured.
Okay.
Yeah, injured or like family members or something like that.
They still showed up to the game though.
Yeah, exactly. I think Vito asked one of the guys, he was like, please tell me that guy behind the net is a healthy scratch. He was like, no, we don't have any healthy scratches. That would have been hilarious.
The best thing about that, though, too, was me and Rossi were sitting there watching. Level Zero was playing before us, and we're watching, and they're coming out of the locker room, and it's like a fucking clown car. Like, the fifth, third locker rooms aren't that big. Like, 10 of us filled it up.
Well, I went in there afterwards just to kind of give them my RMU business card, just to, you know, obviously doing my job.
Yeah.
You should have seen. It was like a sardine can. They were all packed in there like this. Unbelievable. Oh my God. But no, that was a great time. Had a bunch of fun playing those guys, and apparently there's more to come. Who knows? So, if anybody wants to help out the Benders and fill up some roster spots, let us know. Playing some decent hockey games at least. But speaking of playing some decent hockey games, how about them Hawks, huh?
How about them Hawks? What a fucking turnaround.
Yeah. So, oh boy, it was ugly for a bit there. It was ugly for a bit. It looked like they just didn't know what direction they wanted to go. And honestly, it still kind of feels that way a little bit. I don't know. Had a real nice stretch there. I think they went 6-0-1 or 6-0-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
So had a really, really nice stretch there where they were just putting the puck in the net. And a huge reason for that is finally the line combinations are right. Finally. Taves is with Saad like he should have been. And Kane is with DeBrincat and Strome.
which should be always aligned no matter
Which
what's
is
going on with the team.
always have been aligned. And since that they put that together, Kane is now on a 12-game point streak. So it's not a surprise at all. Also helps to have some depth scoring coming in. Guys like Kirby Doc pulling their weight. Andrew Shaw's been playing a lot better. Kubalik has been playing really well, unless he's getting sat for Slater Cuckoo, which we'll get into that in a hot second.
Camp is doing great.
Yeah, Camp, love him. So I mean, it's good to have that kind of depth scoring, and defense has woken up offensively. Gustafsson has scored twice since getting sat. Seabrook is putting the puck in the back of the net. So only Mata scored last night his first goal. So it really good to see kind of some of the wealth kind of going out.
Yeah.
But I think the real story has been goaltending.
Yeah, I hate to say you're right, just given the history of the show, but it's incredibly hard to deny that Crow and Lehner are just
relevant. They're relevant. They're so relevant. It's not how relevant they are. They're just relevant. Relevant.
You're falling into the fantasy standings, so you're trying to get that all out now, right?
So relevant.
No, it is absolutely ridiculous the things that these two guys have been doing for that. Like, it's just the amount of shots that have been given up still. Yeah. Like, I think last time we talked, it was up to 99 shots against in 2 games. That was the Vegas and Toronto game. The following game against who was it? Who did they play after Vegas? Nashville. Was still 41 shots, and they only let in 2. It's ridiculous how fucking good, and they're still not getting like the respect among the league.
Yeah, the Hawks are leading the league as of right now in shots against per game with 37.
Jesus Christ!
The shots for are 30.7 per game, almost at 31. So I mean,
that kind of went up a little bit.
Relatively close. But at the same time, I don't know. There's no way you can keep that up, right? Like, there's no way you can continue to add 40 plus shots per game and expect to continue to win hockey games.
Here's a stat too that I sent to the group chat this morning. So Robin Lehner faced the most shots he faced in the season last year was 41. He's already faced 41 or more shots 4 times in 12 starts this year.
Mm-hmm.
938 save percentage in this season. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't care how fucking good you are and how good you're playing. Something's gonna happen. I don't know if it's just me knowing like
it's they're gonna get worn down is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have the both of them being like a 1A 1B situation. Which, by the way, Robin Lehner has been the better of the 2 goaltenders. Let's get that out of the way. However, Corey Crawford has done a phenomenal job at coming back from a real tough start.
Yeah.
He's been phenomenal as well. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that he's not used to this kind of thing. That 1A, 1B, he's used to playing 3-4 games in a row, getting a night off. Right?
So, last night was 7 straight games that they've switched off, I believe.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a hard transition for a guy, especially coming off of an injury, who's so used to, getting a bulk of games and then having a day off, and then a bulk of games and then a day off. So it's hard to kind of get into groove after doing something like that. So a lot of credit to Corey Crawford to, kind of transitioning into this 1A, 1B role, which Robin Lehner is very used to. He did that last year. So, it's good to see that.
You being a goalie, so you've kind of, obviously you would rotate and all that kind of stuff. Is there any, I mean, obviously we see the positives of, switching off. Is there any truly negative behind that? Like, is it hard to get going, or
of rotating every game?
Yeah. Like,
the tough thing is it's hard to really get a lot of momentum, a lot of mojo going. It's when when you play 1-2 really good games in a row, you're feeling really good. You want to get back in the net. And then you'll put together 3-4 solid games in a row. And then finally, at some point, it's going to end up wearing off. But if you play that one really good game, then you've got that next game off, and might not be a couple of days before you get to that next game again. It might have worn off at that point,
Right.
So it's just good for the psyche, I guess, more than anything.
I guess, I mean, there's worse problems to have than, oh no, which good goalie are we going to play today? So I guess that's.
Yeah. So, but in a not so positive note from a goaltending standpoint, Robin Lehner should not be allowed to do shootouts anymore, ever.
Yeah. He's flat out said that he doesn't like doing shootouts.
He came out and he was just like, listen, I'm very bad at shootouts, so we need to end these games in overtime.
I think he's like 8 and 22 now in shootouts.
Yeah. And I made one save in the shootout this entire season.
Jesus.
So, it's, I don't know. I don't know if it shows a lack of confidence, which he's kind of already shown in himself, I guess. But I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily be totally opposed at having Crowford go in for the shootout just to finish it out.
So that's what I wanted to ask about, because I mean, is that a weird idea?
It's not. I mean, it's I don't know, because I mean it's tough because at that point Crawford's been on the bench for 2.5, almost 3 hours.
Yeah,
not doing anything, not even moving. So he's got to get some kind of a stretch in. He's got to get some kind of a warm up. But I mean, at the same time, you have to kind of take a look at it and say, would he be better than Robin Lehner in the shootout, even in that state? Which I think he probably would be. Just because, even from just a mental standpoint, Robin Lehner it sounds like already has that chalked up as a loss, So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I understand that it's probably not the greatest idea in the world, but when you've got a goaltender who has no confidence in the shootout in the first place, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a guy who's got no confidence on the power play, you're going to take him off and replace him with another guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's like my whole thing too, because it's just like thinking about, going in cold and all that, because like you got, baseball, bring someone in that's been sitting there, they get warm-ups. You don't get that in hockey. So It's almost like, is it the risk? It's almost kind of a situation where it's got to be well worth the risk, like, to do that.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Is really what it is.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think that would be the most ridiculous thing that Colliton has done all year long either. So, I mean, might as well try it, see what happens.
I mean, yeah, because and it's such a shitty way for that game to end last night.
I know.
That was such a good game.
Two goals disallowed. Big kill in the overtime. Couldn't get the win. So those are the ones where you probably deserve the win.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it.
But you know what?
That they didn't deserve to win, but they did.
It's great. It's great though that it showed that this team can be in there with the top teams, because Dallas is on a fucking run right now. I think they're like 12-0-2 the last 14 or something like that.
Only hotter team right now is New York.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a team that we all predicted was going to be in the top 3 in the division, and the fact that we took them to a shootout and lost in a skills competition. I mean, that's got to be a boost for the boys right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jonathan Toews was not happy about the penalty call last night. I don't know if you saw the quote that he had on.
I didn't see the quote, but I mean, that's another thing too. Like, that's what sucks to that happen in a away building, because it's like you don't have the camera angles to actually see everything. What did they ever get a good angle of where the extra man was?
So here, I'll pull up the quote really quick. Here he goes. It's not something you have to call, but it's so obnoxiously obvious. I try to not make excuses and complain about calls in the media, but in overtime, you're going to throw one like that on us. So he wasn't happy about that being the call that they made. I'm assuming, I didn't actually get to see the overtime.
Yeah.
But what I'm assuming happened was somebody was coming to the bench, and whoever was coming off of the bench jumped early. And as that guy was getting onto the bench, he got control of the puck, the guy who had jumped for him.
So from what that's what you would think, but watching it, Eddie Olczyk was like sitting there saying, he's like, oh, we don't have the camera. We don't have the camera on. He's trying to explain it. And it seems like Shaw jumped about maybe a couple seconds early for Strome coming off, but Shaw did not touch the puck.
See, that's the thing. I always thought the rule was that the guy who jumped has to touch the puck.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But it's like
unless there's 4 guys out there for about 3, 4.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it literally, like, when his arm went up, there was 3 guys on the ice.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's
so
tough to make.
And that's that's another tough one too. That's just not having that angle to actually see everything too. Like if you could have that overhead view of the bench, it's like literally the highest view that they had was like cut the ice in half from center ice. So it's like you see Shaw coming on, but you can't see where Strome was on the bench. Yeah. So
it is what it is. They'll have a rematch on Tuesday though, against the Stars. So that actually should be a pretty good one, I think.
And the Stars are playing tonight too, so they'll also get a little bit of rest on them.
Yeah. So, kind of talk about Jonathan Toews in the media. A bit interesting, him talking about the decision by the coaching staff to go with 7 defensemen and 11 forwards instead of 12 forwards and 6 defensemen against Tampa Bay. You could tell that he wasn't very happy with the decision, but he also didn't necessarily throw Colliton and the staff under the bus either. I don't know. I think when it comes down to it, though, the last thing that you want is your captain to make a quote like that to the media.
Anything against management, you don't want your captain saying.
Yeah.
But I'm all team Toews on that one. I don't understand why you take Kubalik out of the lineup. He's been
and the reasoning was ridiculous.
Yeah.
They wanted to get Slater Cuckoo in a game against his former team. Did he play for that team for 5 years? Was he an all-star defenseman on that team?
Well, he wasn't an all-star defenseman, that's for sure.
He played like 3 games, and then the rest he was shot down to the minors. He doesn't need to play in that game and play against his former teammates. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And especially a team like Tampa where they're already down Kucherov. They were down Johnson as well, right? Tyler Johnson was out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no. Johnson was in. Stamkos went out. Stamkos played the first period.
You're right.
Then,
game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've already got a team that's kind of teetering on the edge offensively a little bit. They're a little weaker than they should be. They're not weak by any means, but weaker than they should be. Why not go with the 12 forwards who've been blasting the puck in the net, by the way?
Yeah.
And 6 defensemen. And there's no reason that Dominic Kubalik should have been the one to sit that day.
No, that kid, he needs
to generate the most opportunities pretty much out of anybody on that roster, maybe minus Patrick Kane.
He's one of those guys that I think needs to be on the lineup unless he physically cannot go. He is playing so fucking good. Like, I don't understand. Like, that blows my mind. Like, I don't know why he wouldn't take like a Carpenter or like a Smith out.
Well, I saw a couple different quotes from Kubalik, and he was like, "Yeah, I was super surprised to see myself not on the roster," which seems like an issue for Colliton, by the way, letting people know that he's scratching them, because this is now the 3rd person that didn't realize they were going to get scratched on game day.
Well, it wasn't. Didn't Kubalik warm up?
Yeah.
So it was like literally right before.
Then nobody knew what was going on, and like same
That's
thing
fucked.
Like before, like I figured out. But he was saying that the Carolina game before, he realized, he knew that he didn't have that great of a game. Like he screwed up a little bit. He had a couple bad shifts, what have you. But at the same time, up until like the 10-minute mark of the 3rd period, who didn't?
Right.
That was a brutal game for
that was a bad game.
And then the last 10 minutes of the 3rd period, they flipped the switch. And they got 2 in what, like 30 seconds or something like that, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was very pissed off about that, because I get to the rink, I turn off the car, and then I get text saying, "Oh my God, the Hawks are back in this." I'm like, son of a bitch, and I can't turn my car back on because obviously they're doing better. But Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't make sense to make that move. And I like Colliton. I do. I do
Yeah.
like Jeremy Colliton. It's just there are some things that he does. I don't know if he's doing them to assert his authority or if he just isn't sure what kind of a team that he wants. I don't know. But there's some decisions that he makes that are just so head scratching. They make absolutely no sense, whether it's changing the lines again when things are going well, or it's sitting somebody like when he sat Boquist and Doc
Yeah.
together. What?
It's definitely like his inexperience is definitely showing. It's growing pains for sure, and it's one of those things. It's like I personally think he's a great coach, and you if we hang in through this now, it's going to be better in the long run.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because it's like we're on the verge. This team is on the verge of being a playoff competitor, a legitimate threat, and it seems like every time we take a step forward, it's like 2 steps back.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what Patrick Kane he said in the media.
Yeah.
I think it was after oh crap. I think they lost to when they lost to San Jose in San Jose. He said, "Listen, like we take a step forward, and then we're taking 3 steps back with another shitty performance like San Jose." You know, so it's just it's hard to get anything going when so much is changing in the lines. I feel like if they get their set lineup of 12 guys, 6 defensemen, and they just run with that for a couple of games, they're going to end up seeing a lot of success out of it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, I mean, I think that too was like kind of the downfall of Q a little bit too, was the shuffling and it's all that. It's these players need consistency. They need the chance to develop the chemistry. They need the chance to develop all this. And if you're not gonna commit to it, and that's what's gonna screw you over. And yeah, like you said, I don't know.
Well, and here's the other thing too, and Mark Lazarus has been talking about this quite a bit. The Blackhawks are a bubble team.
Yeah.
This is what bubble teams do. They're going to win a lot in a row, and then they're going to lose quite a few in a row.
Yeah.
So it's just something that you have to get used to. I mean, the Hawks were so used to them winning 5, 6, losing 1 or 2, then winning another 4, and then losing 1, and then winning another 6 in a row. So I mean, that's not what it is anymore. You know, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of, you know, we're gonna go 6-0-1, but then we're also gonna go 0-4-2. You know,
Yeah.
So it's the important thing is they need to get points. They need to maximize on their points because right now they're at 23 points on the season. And that puts them 3 points out of a playoff spot. Let me double check real quick.
Is that? Yeah, I'm looking right now too.
Yeah, 3 points out of a playoff spot behind Vegas, who have 26 and 2 games in hand. So crazy that we're already talking about the playoffs at this point, but we all know that Thanksgiving
is a big date.
That's the date where if you're not in it, more often than not, you're not gonna be. And I hate so much about people talking about the St. Louis Blues last year saying, well, they did it, so why can't the Hawks? Shut up.
That team was built. That team was built to be a competitor. The fact that they got off to the start that they did was absolutely ridiculous. That team should have been the team that they were January on the entire time. The Blackhawks aren't built that same way. Like, you look at this team, you can see, okay, well, this is an issue. This is an issue. This needs to be changed.
I wouldn't be surprised if that never happened again.
Oh, I don't think it will.
I would not be surprised.
It would be – I'd be more surprised that it happened again than it not happened again.
Yeah.
Like that – I mean, it's a phenomenal story, and it's absolutely insane, and it fucking sucks. That was the Blues. Yeah, I think we said during the playoffs last year, if this storyline was on any other team, we'd be all on that bandwagon throughout that playoffs.
But it is what it is. coming up for the Hawks, like I said, got another game against Dallas at home on Tuesday. And then they've got a home-and-home with the Avalanche, who are struggling at the moment. Injured, although Cale Makar is fucking superstar.
That kid is so fucking good.
Oh, my God, he's so good.
You know what's terrifying? If Byram turns out to be the defenseman he's supposed to be. Oh, God.
That kid is he is something special. But yeah, a home-and-home with Colorado to finish out the month on the 29th and the 30th as well. So starting to get those division games into play here. We didn't have too many divisional games up until this point. All we've had so far is Dallas, Nashville, Winnipeg, and then Nashville again. So, I mean, we haven't really had too many divisional games up until this point, which is good for the Hawks. If they start to get some points within the division, that's going to end up playing pretty good in the down the long run here.
Yeah. Like I said, the key thing is they have to get those points. I mean, it's a great situation to be in, you know, most of your games against like the teams that you need to catch up on. But at the same time, though, we didn't get the points that we did early on. So now if we don't get these points against these guys, it's going to just be that much more painful and harder for us to come back.
Yeah, Hawks have 6 Central Division games in December. So
that's huge. That is going to be a big month.
Yeah.
But no outdoor game this December, which is great. Like, that's a huge positive. No outdoor game in January. That's a huge positive.
And thank God, too, because Lord knows what their jerseys would have looked like.
Oh, God.
Some of these jerseys are absolutely atrocious. Well, I don't know what the Avalanche were thinking, number one. That looks awful. The LA Kings, I don't know who was doing a line of coke when they did that, because that's brutal.
I don't see. People are like mad at they didn't go old school with those jerseys. The Stadium Series are always futuristic.
Yeah, the Stadium Series have always been different, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with it. But those looked brutal. Those looked like 1990s like starter jacket.
Yeah.
Jerseys.
Oh my God. Yes.
Horrible.
Oh shit. I've been trying to figure out what that was. Yeah, you nailed it. Holy fuck.
Brutal.
I do know that I will not be watching that game just because of the jerseys.
Well, and they don't promote those games anyway.
Oh, yeah.
The outdoor game that they had, 2 weeks ago with Winnipeg and Calgary? Nobody even knew what was happening.
Day before, I think it was the first time I remembered about it.
Nobody knew anything was going on. So, I don't know. Who knows? Speaking of old retro jerseys, and I hate to talk about the St. Louis Blues again, but wow.
Yeah.
I loved those, and I don't like Jordan Binnington, but that setup was so nice. And the Cujo mask,
it was so fucking sick. And then Panger suit.
Oh my God, his suit was in there. Oh, I loved it.
It's like the whole thing. I just thought of Step Brothers. Like, I still hate you, but your setup's really fucking nice. But
that looked really good. So, we'll kind of cut it off here and send it out to the interviews that we have. Got 2 of them today, like I said. First one is with Alex Martinez. He is pretty much the brainchild behind the Veterans Hockey League. He also plays for Level Zero Heroes men's league team. And then we also talked to William.
Also a goalie, too, which I don't understand. What is with the show and shitting on goalies, but all we do is talk to goalies.
Talk to goalies, yeah, I know. You guys are all a bunch of fucking hypocrites. And then we also talked to William Lipke, who also plays for Level Zero Heroes, and he plays for the Warriors, Blackhawk Warriors. And he is also a former Marine as well. So 2 really, really cool interviews to kind of end the show. And then I think next episode we're definitely going to have a Noli segment talking about Mike Babcock getting canned.
And we also need, because he hasn't been on for a while, so we also need a Noli, aka Don Cherry, reaction to him being fired.
Yes.
Maybe Noli will channel Don Cherry to give his opinion on the firing there.
Oh, I love it. I love that Yeah.
Yeah. So I will we'll make sure to include all links and information to these amazing organizations for the Vets Hockey League, Chicago Blackhawk Warriors, and all that in the descriptions for this. So please take the second, check out the page. I know that they accept donations. All goes to organizations that help out with vets. So it's a great cause. But yeah, other than that, I think that should do it. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. Excited to be back.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Woo!
Slowly but surely, we'll have everybody back on at some point.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll figure it out. So, all right. We'll send it over to those interviews now.
All right, guys. So now we are joined by a very special guest, Alex Martinez. He is the founder of the Veterans Hockey League. He is also the goaltender for the Level Zero Heroes. He is a Marine vet. And, he's been doing some amazing stuff with the VHL that we have been a part of, and we actually love being a part of. So, Alex, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not so bad. So thanks for coming on. So I guess, to get things started, to our listeners that might not know what the VHL is, can you tell us a little bit about what this league does?
Yeah, so pretty much the league is it's a VHL. It stands for Veterans Hockey League, and it's the whole purpose of the league is to basically have teams come together, whether you're veterans or not veterans, and play and raise awareness, of course, for PTSD, and also funds to help those who veterans who need some therapeutic help with PTSD and some other issues as well. So it's more to, and I want to really emphasize a couple of things in regards to the VHL right out of the gate is that what we do in the VHL is, whether it's the awareness, raising funds and whatnot is for the local community. So it's within the Chicagoland area only. And I just want to emphasize that because I know there's a lot of organizations out there who raise funds, which is great. But at the end of the day, we are, we're in the Chicagoland area, and, our biggest thing is to promote, it's veterans, locally here and help them out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when this whole thing started, was it kind of like a group collaboration between a bunch of people, or, I guess, how did the idea kind of come about?
It wasn't a group. It was just me, I guess. It was just one of those things where I've always been a sucker for charities, and I've always been involved with other groups trying to raise funds, whether it's for veterans or non-veterans. Me being a veteran myself, of course, I'm lured towards helping, those who served. But it was just one of those things like, okay, initially it started, I wanted to just put a veterans league, like just for veterans, like just veteran teams, and just to kind of get on the ice together and let's play, let's have a league. And I quickly found out that there's not many veteran teams out there. And that was a big issue. So I go, well, there goes that idea, right? So then I was talking to a couple of people. One of the ones that I did talk to was my wife as well. She's a big supporter of this and helps out. And it was one of those things where, well, let me get a league going and let's raise awareness, let's raise funds, and they can be civilian teams, veteran teams. It didn't matter. So I said, let's see what happens. Let's start it up, and hopefully we can start it, and hopefully we can finish, which we did. And it's so that's how kind of it was just one of those ideas I had.
So, I mean, you started with this little idea, and it's kind of really just like snowballed into this big thing. You got you got the first season going. Now you got the fall winter showcase going. Are you kind of shocked at all or surprised at like the kind of response you're getting from all these teams that kind of want to participate?
Yeah, so shocked is the right word, actually. I mean, it's morphing into something that I hope I can still kind of control or put my hands on. One of the dangers to growing too big is that everyone wants to put their hands in the cookie jar, so to speak, and you just want to make sure that everything is controlled as best as possible, and this is where we are. But I mean, we've been contacted by even celebrities from around the country who are veterans themselves, and how to basically asking for the blueprint, saying, hey, what, how did you do this? Who do we need to talk to? How can we do something like this? So of course, I'm more than willing to share, my ideas or how I got started, or which sponsors you may want to talk to, or how to approach arenas or whatever the case is. So, but yeah, it's growing. We're definitely shocked. So, yeah.
So when did you personally get started with hockey? How did you end up playing as a kid, or?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, there was a long time. I was in the Marines actually, and it was a long time ago. And some of my Marine buddies used to play inline hockey in the tennis courts. And I guess their goalie got hurt or whatever the case is. And they're like, hey, we need a goalie. You want to play goalie? I'm like, dude, what? And I'm thinking it's soccer or something, right? And they're like, no, it's roller hockey. I'm like, what? So I went out there and I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a whirl. So we ended up buying secondhand equipment. I bought the cheapest inline skates that I can buy, and I went out there and I got peppered. I don't even know how many goals I let in, but I loved it. It was I don't know what it is. I loved it. I fell in love with the sport right away. And of course, I have two sons. They're both, actually I have one who's a Marine veteran. He did 6 years. I have one in boot camp now. He also played hockey. So, I got involved with ice hockey because I think with my oldest, it was one of those, hey, let's have a father and son scrimmage. Never really played ice hockey. It was only inline hockey or roller hockey. So I went out, got the rentals, went out there, and became a hockey snob ever since. Didn't even stop playing inline hockey and just focused on playing ice hockey.
Well, I'm not sure about your older son, but your younger son absolutely torched me on the ice. So you did a good job with him.
Well, my oldest started really late. I think he started when he was, I believe, 9 years old, playing hockey. My youngest, who's in boot camp now, I think I first put him on the ice, I think when he was like 2 years old. So he's been skating ever since. I mean, don't get me, he played AAA out in Dallas at U16, and he definitely passed up some opportunities to play juniors at the NAL level, just so he can join the Marines, basically keep with family tradition.
That's awesome.
So see more and more of these, I don't know if it's just because we're involved with the league too, but you're seeing more and more of these vets that play hockey. Is that really like something that like it's played a lot, like in camps and like around wherever you guys are stationed?
Yes and no. Yeah, it's as hockey is it's a very small community, and so at some point, where they're, if you're on base and you see a hockey stick or someone with a hockey stick in their car or something like that, is one of those things. Hey, you play hockey? I play hockey. It's just one of those things, and it's like, hey, did we just become best friends? And it's just it's then you start, sometimes you'll play floor hockey, whatever, not necessarily always ice hockey, depending where you're at, but sometimes you go out there and play, you'll play floor hockey, roller hockey, ice hockey. But yeah, my youngest who's in boot camp, he was pretty encouraged when I told him, hey, once you go through your whole boot camp and your station, whatever, find out right away where the local ice rink is, and I'll ship your hockey stuff out there and, continue to get, stay on the ice. So, but yeah, it's a small community, for sure. And that's why, like I said, it was tough to get just all veteran teams, because within hockey itself, I think it's small. Now, being a veteran in hockey, it's even smaller community.
So have you been able to see kind of some differences? I know you were saying your son was playing AAA out in Dallas. Have you been able to see kind of the differences between hockey compared from, youth hockey in Dallas compared to youth hockey here in Chicago or anywhere else you guys may have been living?
big difference. You know, he played the normal standard, I guess, travel B hockey here in Illinois for a while. So there was an opportunity for him to head out to Dallas to play U16 AAA, and of course he jumped on it. And Chicago hockey is strong. I mean, Illinois hockey is strong, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I guess there's more of a talent pool here in Illinois, or the Midwest, I should say. I did notice that a lot of the teams out in Dallas, or in Texas and Dallas, they bring in kids from other parts of the country to kind of build a roster. So he got that whole experience about, you know, building with a family and all that good stuff pretty early. So, but I would say there's a much deeper pool here within, you know, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota. It's much deeper.
So yeah, going back to a little bit about the VHL. I know there is one of like the big causes that you know, you guys support and most of the donations go to. Can you talk a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, of course. So basically, we're non-for-profit. Everything that we do is, you know, it's all volunteer work. We have 3 volunteers, including myself, that pretty much run, you know, everything from the website to game day operations and all that good stuff. And basically, so the league, or the team fees, I should say, that covers all of the operations, you know, ice and all that good stuff. Some of that fee is geared towards a donation for the groups that we're donating to. And of course, sponsors, they help out a lot with regards to, you know, either hockey sticks, whiskey glasses from our guys at Whiskey Stones, or, you know, ice time, things like that. But the 2 groups that we primarily raised funds for this past summer was for the Chicago Blackhawk Warriors. As you guys know, they're a team out of Chicago who are all disabled veterans. So 50% of what we raised went to them, and the other 50 went to the Headstrong Foundation, which they're a national group. But my biggest thing is that, you know, they kept the funds here in Chicago. And they basically, the Headstrong Foundation is, they focus on getting therapy for veterans who don't only have PTSD, but who also have been sexually assaulted in the military. And that is used for therapy here. And you know, going through the VA for a veteran is tough and all that. So with the Headstrong Foundation, it removes a lot of the red tape. So a veteran who needs to see a therapist can go in there with removing a lot of the red tape and get help right away.
Wow. That's amazing. Like there's this foundation out there that's willing to do all that work for them, because, you know, I do come from a military family. So it's like, I've seen the effects and all that and how hard it can be. So having this opportunity to, you know, get the help that you need without having to jump through hoops is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. No, and again, it's even with the showcases that we're doing, you know, and like I said, I'm very grateful for all the teams participating, you know, whether it's the Windy City Benders or even the Chicago Cougars, or we had the FBI team go out there. I mean, we have some other local teams as well. I mean, it's raising awareness. It's helping us raise some funds, and but I think the more important thing out of all this is keeping some of these veterans on the ice. It's very, very therapeutic, and I can't emphasize enough how that you know, they are looking forward to something. They're you know, they know they have a game that Sunday or that Friday or whatever the case is, and they look forward to it. They look forward to being with their buddies, being on the ice, you know, battling it out, you know, trying to score a goal or prevent a goal or whatever the case is. And for a lot of, you know, it's just a game. Yeah, let's go. It's a men's league game, but it's the world to some of these guys. It really is. And I can't thank, you know, you guys. I can't thank all the other teams who've participated enough from the bottom of my heart. How you know, we're truly blessed to have teams participating in this. And yeah, again, awareness is great and funds is great, but just, you know, having these guys, sharing the ice with these guys, or giving them the opportunity to have something to look forward to, That's priceless.
Have you been pretty happy with the compete level and like the pace of play with the games going on? Because I mean, being out there and playing in these games, you know, you could tell there's a real passion level that's not normally seen in men's league normally. You know, so it's cool from our end to kind of see that kind of thing, and it's nice to have that kind of compete. But have you been pretty happy with it, kind of watching from the outskirts?
Yeah, I have actually. Some of these games are really interesting, to be honest with you. Pretty fun. You know, I always, you know, I was having a conversation the other day and it's like I feel like a fight promoter here, where I'm like, you know, let me put this team against that team or whatever the case is. So, you know, I try and balance things out as best as I can. But I think, yeah, I've been pretty happy. I mean, I know in the summer of 2020 we will have 2 divisions. We may mix up a little bit here and there, but we will have 2 divisions. So like that, we can balance things out. But I've been extremely happy with the games, that's for sure.
Well, I'm starting to get a little nervous now because I know the season's only getting more and more intense. We played the Cougars a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's, you know, potential talks of other high-level teams. So I think I have to start working out again.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's. I'm talking to the Chicago Blackhawks about. No, I'm joking. But it's one of those.
Dyson told us that there's a day that we might end up having a game sometime in December, and I looked at the Hawks schedule. And it's the day before the Hawks play the Devils. I was like, oh, the Devils are in town, so it's probably just a warm-up game for them. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, yeah. Let me work some magic. I'm trying to get a good opponent. I think I've talked to some of you guys where it's like, you know, there's a lot of interest. I've actually have teams reaching out to me, you know, wanting to play you guys. I feel like you guys are the champions of the world here, and someone's trying to go out there and play against you guys. But before anything, I try and vet them as best as possible. You know, I want to make sure they're reliable. I want to make sure they're also a team that's able to compete as well. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I vet everything before it happens, but I'll make sure I have some good competition for you guys.
So speaking of, like, you know, more competition, you know, how can some other teams, you know, get involved with the league?
Yeah, I mean, we have a website. We have a pretty neat little website. I wish we updated it more, but it's just one of those things. We're an all volunteer, so we update it as best as possible. Stats are very important, so we do update that. But so if they go to vetshockeyleague.com and just go to our contact section, they can reach out to us. We also have, you know, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And again, they don't have to be veterans or a veterans team or a first responder team. They can be, you know, just a team wanting to participate. Their participation, that is enough for them they're contributing. They're contributing, you know, in many ways. Like I say, sharing the ice with some of these veterans, and also some of the fees that they pay in the league fees will be part of the funds that we raise for some of these foundations that I talked about.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody does have a team that was looking to get in, I mean, I can't speak highly enough about this league and, you know, the experience it's been playing with these guys. And you keep talking about how, you know, it's a privilege to, like, you know, step on the ice with everybody. But you know what? The privilege is definitely more on our side. You know, it is absolutely some of the most fun I've had playing men's league in the play against, you know, level 0, and then the Blackhawk Warriors, just a bunch of great guys. And it's just great that this game can, you know, bring everybody together in the way that it has.
Yeah, you know, and it's just one of those, you know, and that's why, you know, this past summer when we had an all-star game, that was the whole purpose, is to get veterans to play with people who are not veterans, you know, and you have to start, you know, you start sharing the locker room, or you start sharing the ice with vets and civilian players, and it's having worlds kind of, you know, talk to each other, you know, communicate. We don't even communicate anymore like real people these days. So it's just a matter of, you know, sitting next to some, you know, either a veteran or civilian player and having a conversation about the game, or, you know, whatever the case is. And that's the whole purpose, really. It's just to basically have everybody together and definitely, play a game that we all love for sure.
Absolutely.
Any big future plans, that you might want to drop out there right now, or still kind of work on some stuff?
No, I mean, we have been teasing a little bit in regards. We are going to have a draft on February 29th out at the Fifth Third Bank Ice Arena, and if I can just talk a little bit about that, just briefly, if I can, which is basically is any active, reserve, or veteran that wants to play in the summer of 2020, they can come out to the draft. It costs nothing but your time. They can come out there. We're going to be posting more information, and they're going to be able to play for free in the summer of 2020. Any team that drafts at least one veteran or two, whatever, we have the sponsors to take care a little bit of the league fees to make sure that they're able to sponsor that vet, to bring them on board and have and have them on the ice. So that's going to be on February 29th, and the Fifth Third Bank Arena has been really great for us. They've been they've been really good to us. I can't speak enough about the hospitality they've given us on the teams.
Awesome. Well, got to say, I'm so happy to be a part of this league. So excited for what's coming up, and scared, but excited. For what's coming up in the future, and I can't wait to win the championship again, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been great ambassadors. Like I said, from the bottom of my heart, for sure, and those involved here within our league and our with sponsors and our foundations that we're working with. You guys are great ambassadors to the league. So we do appreciate you guys participating, and we look forward to having you guys back for sure.
Well, it's our absolute pleasure.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you for your service, your family for their service and everything. We really appreciate you coming on talking to us a little bit about the league. We'll definitely have to do this again. Promote once maybe the summer comes up. Really pump the tires and get people excited for the next session. Looking forward to some more showcase games and just seeing the boys again at Fifth Third this winter.
Sounds good. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
So we are now joined by another very special guest today, William Lipke. He is a Marine veteran who plays for the Level 0 Heroes. He also plays for the Chicago Blackhawks Warriors. He plays the forward position. William, thank you so much for coming in. How are you doing today?
Good, brother. It's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. So basically, let's first kind of talk about you. What got you into the game of hockey?
So I grew up loving the game. Unfortunately, it was one of those expensive sports that I couldn't really afford as a kid. So I didn't start skating until I was 36.
Wow. Okay. So did you?
Was always an avid Hawks fan. Followed the game since I can remember. Always loved watching. Finally had the opportunity to play.
Beautiful. So did you go to a lot of Hawks games when you were a kid, or?
Yeah, I used to love going to the old stadium. Literally feeling that building shake during the national anthem. It was a huge impact on me as a kid as far as sports went, and just once I was at a Hawks game, it was all the other sports kind of fell to the wayside.
So let me ask you this about the Hawks. It's always a question I've always had with the national anthem. Being a veteran, how do you feel about that? Like, is it something that you like? Are you do you think that it's disrespectful at all, or what's your general opinion of it?
So I look at it from two different perspectives. For me personally, when the national anthem is on, I'll stand at the position of attention, looking at the flag, and I listen to the words. Now, for me, it's a time of reverence. Now, do I have a problem with the place going crazy? Absolutely not, because I look at it as a show of support. I don't think it's disrespectful at all. I think it's just Chicago's way of showing their support, not only for our country, but for our veterans.
I definitely feel like that's what it is for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you got in the game a little bit late. What kind of give you that push to finally like you go out there and try playing?
So after I got out of the military, once I started in my professional career, I finally had the money and I had the time. So it was a buddy of mine who had played from high school, and he basically drugged me out to a couple of rat hockey sessions and said, why not? So I figured, he's right. Why not? So I got out there, played a couple of rat sessions, and I was absolutely awful. So I signed on with an adult instructional league, and that's where I basically learned how to skate.
Okay, very cool. So have you always been with Level Zero, or did you kind of start before then? I know you had the instructional league and everything like that, but when did you start to kind of get into gameplay and everything?
So I went from the basic learn to play league, and then I started playing some D-level beer league. And then from there, one day I was watching a Hawks game probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, and I heard Eddie O say something about the Chicago Blackhawk Warriors. And I hurried up and I hit the pause button, got the information down, and shot an email to them. And within 24 hours, the coach, Rich Jeckman, actually reached out to me and basically told me, come on out. Now, as far as Level Zero goes, I bumped into Alex at one of our Warriors games, and he had mentioned the VHL. And we played as the Warriors in the first session of the VHL, and Alex asked if I wanted to skate with Level Zero starting this past season. So I'm going double barrels. So I'm playing for the Warriors, and then I'm also playing for Level Zero.
Oh, it's a lot of ice. It's good. Good.
Yeah, as much as I can get. Yeah.
So, part of what's amazing about Chicago Blackhawk Warriors is just gives the disabled and injured veterans an outlet. Have you seen that as like a good almost like a therapeutic session for you?
100%. When I play with the Warriors, it's more about the healing than it is about the hockey. And what I mean by that is, to get a bunch of my brothers out there on the ice is secondary. So for me, it's more about just being around other guys with similar experiences and, similar injuries. So for that, it's my window or my doorway back into that military brotherhood that I don't get here in the civilian world.
Right. And it's kind of amazing that I know it is two completely different levels, but in a lot of ways, that hockey brotherhood and the military brotherhood are very similar. And I think that's what probably what makes this such a nice transition for you.
Yeah. And you know what, to get two groups of complete degenerates together, the military group, and then of course the hockey bunch, there are a lot of similarities, from just the locker room chatter was very similar to barracks chatter. Or, just the hanging out and drinking as a team and whatnot after the game, that camaraderie. There's definitely some similarities there.
Definitely.
That's awesome. So with the with the VHL and kind of everything that Alex has been able to do over the past year or so, what have you kind of seen from your end, being a veteran yourself? How was this kind of helped out? How have you seen it kind of change the way that veterans and hockey kind of combine together?
So with the VHL, the way we initially looked at it when he invited the Warriors to come in and play was we didn't know what to expect. And when we got there and we started getting our butts kicked by all these young kids, we weren't upset by it. We actually took it in stride as, we're having the opportunity to skate with some phenomenal players. And if nothing else, this was great conditioning. I know just in the one season I played with the VHL, I noticed my game step up considerably, playing at a higher level than what I was accustomed to. having to make decisions at a faster pace. It really made a difference in my level of play. So for me, it's been nothing but a huge positive, again, with the support of guys like Alex, what he's doing with the league, with the support of the other teams that are coming in. We didn't have, if we were to play in a beer league, there's guys that get chippy and guys that get scrappy and guys that want to fight. I never experienced that once in the VHL. Everybody was respectful, even when the scores were incredibly lopsided with us on the lower end, the guys, we didn't want them to turn it down because we wanted to improve. But at the same time, they weren't running up scores just to be jerks. There wasn't that chippiness or that fighting element that you see a lot of times in beer league. Yeah. And a lot of these teams in the VHL, these kids are half our age. I think the average age of our skaters on the Warriors for the VHL season, we were probably looking at somewhere in the early 40s. Whereas I talked to one of the teams and I asked one of the kids, I'm like, how old are you? He goes, well, I'm one of the older kids. I'm 26. I'm like, oh, okay. So what's the average age of your team? Oh, he's like, 19, 20, maybe 21. I'm like, wow, great. So most of my guys are twice your age. and he didn't realize that. Like, he was a bit taken aback by it. And it was just funny because I watched him skate right back to the bench after his shift. And I have these guys on the other bench standing up, looking over at our bench, and maybe in a little bit of awe that these old guys were even managing to hang with them. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
hilarious. That so that summer was, that's probably, we were saying to Alex a little bit, that's probably the most fun we've had playing men's league hockey in a long time. And it was definitely had to do just because of how great your guys' spirit was and level zero spirit. Like, it was, you're going on the ice and it's like you want to have fun. There was, like you said, there's not that chippy effect. It's like you out there, you're playing hockey, you're having fun, you're playing with guys that want to be there. And I definitely,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I definitely think that makes the whole difference, and that's kind of what makes this league so special.
I agree with your statement wholeheartedly, man. There was a definite difference in the atmosphere between beer league hockey and the VHL, and it was all positive in the VHL. The laughing, the joking with the other teams, whether it was while we were playing, I don't know how many times I managed to squeak a goal in or something, and I would get a slap on the back or a pat on the helmet from a guy from one of the other teams just saying, hey, you know what, dude, good goal. And we would do the same, more often to the other team, hey, dude, that was a sick goal, or hey, great save, brother, And it was definitely one of those things where it felt more like a bunch of buddies out there. Yeah. Even though it was competitive, you could feel the friendship and the camaraderie between all the teams out there.
Definitely. And you guys are coming back to this upcoming session. So you're gonna have to make the hard choice. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna play level zero? Or are you gonna play for the Warriors?
So Alex knew when I jumped over and started skating with level zero that my team is the Warriors team. I love the guys from level zero wholeheartedly, but to skate with all of my brother veterans under the command of Coach Rich Jeckman is an absolute honor and a privilege. So I'll probably sub with level zero if they need bodies, but Alex knows that my heart is with the Warriors still.
Definitely. And so I got one more quick question for you, kind of just talking about your Warriors. You guys have, looking at your guys' stuff, you guys do some amazing tournaments and trips and all that kind of stuff. Do you have like a favorite memory from your time with the Warriors? Like, whether it be like, like a certain game or like a tournament you guys played in?
I love the Terry Fader Vegas tournament. One, because who doesn't like Vegas? But Terry Fader is just a huge supporter of veterans, and what he does for us at the tournament is amazing. Now, last year in 2018, we ended up winning the lower division, which was something that up until that point our Warrior team had not managed to do was win a tournament. And then this year, when we went back for the 2019 tournament in October, we didn't end up winning the tournament, but we still end up making progress because we managed to fight our way and stay in the upper division. And we ended up taking third place in the upper division.
Oh, wow.
So going from winner of the lower division to, still placing, so to speak, in that upper division was, I saw it as a huge accomplishment.
Definitely. All right.
So that would probably be my biggest or my most favorite memory so far.
Yeah, that's
of
a
tournaments
big
and
one.
whatnot.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. So what's the website that our listeners can go to learn more about the Warriors?
We've got a huge Facebook page, Chicago Blackhawk Warriors. We also have our webpage. If you were to just Google Chicago Blackhawks Warriors, it'll pull you right up to our page. If there's any veterans out there that are listening that want to skate, regardless of your level of play, if you played college, if you played semi-pro, or if you never played at all, you can shoot Coach Rich Jeckman a message, and that's basically what I did to get on the team. So we've got that, and then we've got, merch for sale and things like that help support the teams from a financial side to allow us to go on tournaments like that.
Awesome. Yeah, and we will we'll definitely put links to with this episode, to all your guys' sites and your Facebook page and all that. But William, thank you so much for coming on. I can't thank you enough for talking. Can't thank you enough for your service and everything you've done for the country. And we are excited to be seeing you guys around the rink this summer.
Can't wait, brother. I look forward to seeing you guys out there.
Thanks so much for coming on. Thank you again.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Follow the boys on Twitter at WCBPodcast, on Instagram at WCBPodcast, and like them on Facebook, the Windy City Benders Podcast.